When you're building it from the ground up, it's going to take everything in you. You're going to always be almost going broke every time. Like it is a nonstop grind, y'all. So stop thinking you need multiple things. I know they say the average millionaire got 7 streams of income, but listen to this. They didn't say the average millionaire used 7 streams of income to become a millionaire. They just said that average millionaire got 7 streams of income right now. So the way it works is you use one thing to get rich. Then you spread those riches out to remain wealthy. You don't get there by trying to do a bunch of different things. We don't have the capacity to do that. You have to focus. So pick one thing, go all in on that, and then maybe you can make that $100 million or $1 billion exit like I'm trying to do, or maybe you can keep it and pass it on for generations and build that legacy wealth. But the bottom line is the only way you're going to get there is if you lock in on one thing.
You're listening to the Black to Business Podcast, an educational podcast providing Black entrepreneurs with the tools and resources to start and grow their businesses. We chat with vetted Black entrepreneurs, thought leaders, and business owners as they provide tips and resources to help take your business to the next level. I'm your host, Monique T. Marshall. Hey, and welcome back to the Black to Business Podcast. I'm your host, Monique T. Marshall, and today we're diving headfirst into a topic that's not just a buzzword, but a proven game changer, the power of focus. So think about it. In the hustle and bustle of today's dynamic business landscape, where the pressure to wear multiple hats is almost a badge of honor, we're posing a critical question. Is the ability to do it all truly sustainable? Can you really achieve extraordinary results by doing a dozen things at once? Or is the real magic in honing in on that one thing and mastering it? And guess what? We have the perfect guide here today. None other than the exceptional AJ Simmons, the visionary founder of Clean Biz Network. From being a unit franchise owner to becoming a prominent figure in the cleaning industry, AJ's journey is a testament to the unparalleled impact of focus. I mean, just search how to start a cleaning business. AJ and the Clean Biz Network is going to pop up at the top of your search list. I mean, the proof is in the pudding. So in today's conversation, we're actually going to discuss how honing in on a niche can be a game changer in your business. And also, we're going to uncover the challenges of trying to do everything and gain advice on how to resist the temptation to wear too many hats. And you're also going to learn how to simplify your business model for increased efficiency and focus. And of course, so much more. So let's dive in. AJ, thank you so much for being on the Black to Business Podcast. Welcome to the show. I'm so excited about the conversation that we're going to have today. So welcome.
Thank you so much, Monique, for having me.
Of course. So before we dive into the conversation, let's get a little background about who you are. I always like to get my audience familiar with who we're speaking with. So if you could just share about who you are, what is it that you do in your business, and how did you get where you are today?
Yeah, so I'm AJ Simmons. I'm founder of the Clean Biz Network. And basically what we do is we help people start and grow cleaning companies through our software, through our lead generation services, and just all of the products that we provide at Clean Biz Network. I got started by owning my own cleaning company. I started with the cleaning franchise. I was actually with a couple different ones, Jan Pro, Jenny King, and Coverall. And after being with them, I just started to realize that, people could make a lot more money if they weren't with a franchise and if they just went independent and did it themselves. So me being the type of person that's solution driven, I decided, instead of just telling people, hey, don't go with a franchise, it's a bad deal, I'm going to make sure I provide them with an alternative solution. So that's what I kind of did by creating Clean Biz Network.
I love that. Such a great point you mentioned there, that you realized that people could do so much more. And we've had a couple of conversations on the podcast about franchising. And the wonderful thing also I saw in your journey is that you actually sold your business to your brother, right?
Yep, that's correct.
Tell me more about that.
Yeah, so my brother, he was incarcerated for, I think it was about 7 years. And so luckily for me, I started in business very early. I was 19 when I started my first cleaning company. And I knew that when he was gone, because he left, when he was 18 years old, he got locked up. So I knew that, he just didn't have a fair chance. And when he came home, he was going to be a felon. So I knew that it was going to be up to me, or at least I took it upon myself to make sure that when he came home, that he would have a way to be on his feet. And so just ironically, when I came up with the idea that, I wanted to get out of the franchise model, it was perfect timing because he had just came home like maybe a year before that. He was working with me in the business, and I decided, you know what? I mean, he wasn't really equipped to run his own company just yet independently because, you know, he was still way behind as far as technology and all that type of stuff goes. So I was like, you know what? Well, how about this? Why don't I just sell you my cleaning franchise and I'll come over here and start something brand new, fresh. And so it was kind of, I worked out a deal. He didn't have any money like to buy it from me in lump sum, but we set up like a seller financing deal. And so, yeah, that's how we kind of set that up.
I love it. I love that. Such an amazing story, and just looking out for your family in those circumstances. So I think there's so much to take away from that. And then also, one of the things I love about your journey is that when you look up how to start a cleaning business, like your business comes up. So I was so excited to have you on the podcast because I think that it can be so much value for our audience in what you are doing, and also the power of really focusing on one thing. And what you've been able to do is master your niche. So let's talk about understanding the power of focus. So for you, how was it that you honed in on your niche or a specific aspect, and how has it been a game changer for you in your journey?
Yeah, it's been huge. And it's because, I mean, I think all of us entrepreneurs, we kind of do the same thing, right? We get this shiny object syndrome. And I definitely had it all along. I kind of still got it, but I'm just more disciplined not to always fall for it these days, right? But you know, I tried almost everything. I mean, you name it, from the 5 links MLM to the, you know, being in real estate and, you know, just all of these different ideas. I had 2 barbershops in the past. And I just realized at one point, actually, I went to a small workshop. And I was asking the guy that was leading the workshop, and I was like, well, what business should I go back into? Because I want to go back into business. I had a barbershop at first. I had a cleaning company at first. And I was like, but I don't know which one I should do if I go back into it. And he was like, well, which one made the most money? And I said, the cleaning company. He said, well, do that one and you do it whatever you want to after you get the money. And I was like, okay, bet. So that's what I did. And then, you know, just always feeding my brain, reading books, listening to podcasts. And a lot of people always said, you know, just focus on one thing. As a matter of fact, it was one video specifically that I heard, which was Tyler Perry. And he said how, you know, if you water one seed, you can grow a tree, versus if you got a bunch of seeds and you got one, you know, bottle of water, you're trying to spread it out, those other seeds won't grow very big because you spreading too much water out. So if you just focus on that one thing, it can get as big as possible. And that's what I've tried to do with Clean Biz Network. And I just try to stay in my lane. And so now that I've done this for so long, everybody just knows me as, if you think clean the business, you think AJ Simmons.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because when you came across my desk, I'm like, who is this guy? So I'm like a stalker. So I'm looking and I'm like, oh my God, like this is so amazing. And I think one of the things I also love about your journey is that you are very authentic. And one of the things is you mentioned, you know, how your videos are not like super polished, but they have so many views. And I think so many people think it has to look one way, and you still get the message out there. You still create value if it doesn't look like people think in this perfect way. So I want to talk about the power of authenticity and how people are connecting with you because of that. And honestly, getting people to embrace those imperfections that they might have. So how has that influenced your content creation, just your business growth, being authentic and embracing those imperfections?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, for one, it takes the pressure off, right? Because, like, for example, now I do conferences, and it's like, one thing I don't want to be is a letdown, right? When people meet me, like, I don't want them to meet me and be disappointed or feel like they can expose me. It's like, oh, I found out that you cuss, you know, or I found out that you drink beer, or I found out, you know, and it's like, listen, I'm going to give it to you exactly how I am. And hopefully you can get some value from that, because what I don't want to have to do is pretend. I mean, I think that'll be very draining, very miserable. Right. And so, and also too, I think, like, you know, I got family that watch my videos. I got friends that watch my videos, and I don't want to be code switching, so to speak. You know what I mean? I used to go to meetings. I was in this program called the Left Co-Leadership Program in my early days, and it was mostly white people in that group. And I'll never forget, I had to like make a decision one time, because some of those, we had a meeting downtown at a bar, and I was out with my white friends, and then some people from the neighborhood that I grew up with was there too. And I'm like, all right, I'm not about to be fake. I got to be the same way everywhere, all times, because what I don't want to be is like, well, AJ, why are you talking like that? You know what I mean? Why you doing it? You know what I mean? So I just wanted to make sure that I'm just authentic, bottom line. And I think it has helped me. Like I said, it released a lot of pressure, because I don't have to pretend like I'm something that I'm not.
I love that. And do you find that they gravitate to you more and just you're more approachable in that way? And if you could say, like, how has it impacted your growth in your business?
Yeah, I think so. And I think that like I don't have to like I haven't run ads for the most part. I'm starting to run them a little bit, but for the most part, most all of my advertising and the way I grow my companies or through organic growth. And I think by me just being real and authentic, I think it draws people to me more because I even like how I am. Like if when I, we all see those ads with the guys on to make money online type of stuff and they ride around in the Lambos and all of that. And it's like, I don't really necessarily trust those guys as much as I would trust a regular person just hopping up there and talking directly to me, because I think it's just something about that lets me know, like, you're not just trying to sell me something. You actually are genuinely trying to help me. And I think that's what I'm attracted to. And so that's why I put out and I try to attract those like-minded people to me.
Yes. Yes. And it is certainly working for you. The numbers don't lie.
Absolutely.
Yes. And AJ, one of the things you mentioned earlier is like you struggle in the beginning, or you had to make that decision on, okay, which business am I going to focus on? And that's shiny object syndrome. So for a lot of people as entrepreneurs, you mentioned we struggle with trying to do everything. So what are some of those challenges you faced before you did decide to focus on that one thing? And how did you kind of say, okay, I know this is the thing that's working. How do I let that thing go? Those other things go? And what was that process like for you?
Wow. Okay. That's a big one. Let me see. So I guess I'll start here. So when I had my cleaning franchise, I was trying to figure out like which direction I wanted to go. And I think, most of us in the cleaning industry, we not really proud about it, if I'm honest. Like we all look at it as just like a stepping stone. Like, yeah, I got this little cleaning company, but I'm using this so I can get into real estate, or I'm using this so I can get into that. And so I was doing a lot of that early on in my earlier days. And so I was trying to, get into drop shipping and trying to get into selling ebooks. And I wanted to sell, all of these different things on the internet, affiliate marketing and stuff. And I met this a guy on the internet, and he was telling me, what are your profit margins? They're only 40%. No, see, I make money online and my profit margins are like 80%. And I wouldn't even waste my time with something like that. And so I'm listening to that and falling for that. But, looking back in hindsight, I realized, well, of course his profit margins were 80% or more. He was the only person working for himself. I had actual subcontractors and employees that I had to pay, right? And so, but I was, again, that shiny object syndrome, I'm looking at him. And so I was trying to do so many different things. And then one day, like I said, I found that Tyler Perry video and was able to just lock in. And so at the time I was doing drop shipping. I was doing ebooks. I was doing affiliate sales and all type of stuff. I was making money from YouTube. And then I also had my cleaning company. And then once I sold my company to my brother, I realized, you know what? I don't necessarily have to stop drop shipping and stop all of these different things. What I need to do is just bring them all into one company and make sure they're all centered around the same thing, which is cleaning business, helping people start and grow cleaning companies. And so that's how I kind of did it. So now, we still do drop shipping, but it's in the form of cleaning business starter kits, right? I still have ebooks. I still have a telemarketing service, but it's about helping people to get appointments for their cleaning service. So it's like basically what I did was all of those things that I was trying in the beginning, I learned how to basically create systems out of them, put them all into one box and make them all have that one centered focus.
That's powerful. I love that. And it also makes the sense of, simplifying, and that is a key part of focusing. So for you, I would love to talk about how you were able to simplify your business model in terms of, because you also provide like you mentioned, like this kit for people, the starter kit for people who want to get started. So for somebody who's probably wearing many hats, I want to get the point across of how you can simplify. You said you were able to do those same things, but do it in different ways. So how did you kind of like come up with this model of, I'm going to provide this startup kit and make it simple?
Yeah. So it came from my cleaning franchise experience. So when I bought a cleaning franchise, what people would get was a cleaning business starter kit to get started, which was all of cleaning supplies and equipment that you would need for cleaning. And then they will provide some training and everything to go with it. And so I said, you know what? If I'm going to tell people, don't go the franchise route, go this route. Well, what can I provide them with that would help them go, independent? And so that's when I came up with the idea for the starter kit. And I'm like, well, and it started off as just the supplies. And then, as time goes on, you listen to what the people need. And it's like, all right, well, I need to know how to bid. Right. And so it's like, all right, well, let me put together this bidding calculator for you. And so now you know how to price the job. And it's like, all right, well, what else do you need? Well, we need to know, what about bookkeeping? All right, well, let me show you how I do my books. Right. And then it's like, all right, well, how do you do invoicing? Well, let me show you how. And so it's basically like everything, every single time I thought of one more way to help, I would just add that into the whole process, and then just try to make it, like you said, a simplified thing to where it's a one-stop shop for every single thing you need for websites, how to hire, how to market, how to get your first customer, what to say if you cold call, like every single thing you could think of. I try to just make sure I cover it so that way that nobody's left in the dark.
That's good stuff. And how do you think it was able to help you be like more efficient?
How did it make me be more?
Well, I say that because of so this is about understanding the power of focus. So when you think about being focused and okay, these are the things that I want to focus on in my business, and this is a simplified model. How am I able to become more efficient, like start to be better at certain things? Like, did you start to realize, okay, I can just hone in and do this even better? And maybe it's, hiring more of your teammates to kind of like outsource those things or handle those things that maybe one person was handling or you were handling. So
absolutely. Yeah. And so I basically, that's exactly what I did. So, and I really did that more so with my lead generation service. So with that, I'll just explain how that works. So first off, what it is we cold call you submit an application, tell us where you're located and where you want customers at. And so what we'll do after that is I have cold callers working Monday through Friday. They're basically just virtual assistants in the Philippines. Right. And so what they do is they'll just cold call a list of businesses every single day, Monday through Friday, and trying to get, a customer to say, yes, we'll let you come by and provide us with a quote for cleaning service. And so what I did initially, like right off the bat, because I learned from my cleaning company that if you're going to ever scale, you can't do all of the work yourself. Right. You got to hire other people to do it for you, and then you take a low percentage after that. And so that's exactly what I did with my lead generation service. So off the top, I automatically said, I'm not going to make a call because it's going to take too much time. Instead, I'll hire other people to do it. I'll give them a script and let them make the calls. And so what I did was I put that into the starter kit as well, where we provide you with 10 appointments in your starter kit to, just help you get a customer that much faster. So it's like, again, just trying to make sure that the customer is set up for the absolute most success as possible. So I hope that kind of answers it a little bit.
Yeah, it does. Okay. Yeah. And the thing is, so I love that answer because, somebody is listening and they might not necessarily be in the cleaning industry, or they may. And they're like, okay, this is how I can start to streamline my processes. And this is what it looks like in the future, or it can eventually look like. Because like you said, like a lot of times we feel like we have to do everything ourselves. And so you're showing like this is not the case. Like you were thinking about time is money. So I might as well just get this template, show somebody else how to do it and let them handle it while I go make the money.
Exactly. Because I mean, if you look at it, like, let's just say we get, 1,000 starter kit orders today. I would be crazy to think that I'm going to fulfill every single one of those. Right. So instead, if we can get, 5 VAs fulfilling those orders, now it's not as daunting of a task. You know what I mean? So that's just a prime example of it.
Love that. And so, AJ, what advice would you give to somebody who is tempted to wear too many hats, or they're feeling like they're in a point in their business where they're just doing too many things or trying to start too many businesses?
Yeah, I would say definitely pick one, and pick the one that's making money, right? If any of them are making money, pick the one that's making money and go for that one. And then again, like, let's just use this example with cleaning houses, for example. If you get, let's just say one house takes 4 hours to clean. Well, typically most people work 8 hours in a day, but let's just say, all right, well, if you get 3 houses, okay, well, you're going to work 12 hours in that day. And then if you do that Monday through Friday, you'll make decent money. But the problem is you're capped at 3 houses a day. But if you go hire, somebody else to do it, and let's just say you were charging a customer $50 an hour to clean the house. If you clean it yourself, cool, you can keep the $50 an hour. And you might be excited because you never made $50 an hour at a job before. Or you can go pay somebody else $25 an hour. Don't clean yourself. Let somebody else clean for the $25 an hour. You keep a passive $25 an hour. And now how many houses can you clean? Unlimited, because you're not the one that is actually cleaning it, right? You just put other people in place to do it.
Perspective. AJ is giving us game. Okay. Love it. So, AJ, for you, how did you identify or articulate that unique value that you provided to your niche?
I just realized that nobody can do only I can be me. You know what I mean? And that's my value add. And shout out to, I don't want to give out free advertisement, but I just want to make sure I always credit people when I learn something from them. It was a lady named Danielle Leslie. I took her course and she had something called the culture ad. And she was saying how basically just being yourself is your value add within itself. Like that's your superpower. And so I try, if I just be myself and just talk to people the way that I would like to be spoken to, which is straight up, then typically that'll help me stand out. So it's like, it's plenty of other people out there that's trying to do what I'm doing and, want to, get in this space. But at the end of the day, I think that I'm leading in my industry simply because I'm not copying anybody else. I just do, I do what the customer needs. I just look at what do they need, what more, how can we be better? And then I make sure I do it in a way that only I can do it.
Yes. Love that. And so let's get into mastering your niche and more into the power of specializations, because that's one of the things that you've also been able to do very well. And I just want to hone that in for my audience. So for somebody who might be in the cleaning industry or in a different industry, like what are some of the things that they can do to identify and master their niche for that long-term success? So how do they make sure that they're in the game for the long haul? Yeah,
I would say number one, figure out what you want to do first, I guess. Figure out what you actually would like to do and wouldn't mind doing for a long time, right? Make sure that there's some actual money in that because, you might want to do something, but it might not be a lot of money in it. And also, like, for example, let's just use an example, like examples. Let's just say you want to sell pencils. And it's like, okay, well, how much does a pencil actually make? 50 cents, if you sell an individual pencil. And it's like, well, you're going to have to sell a lot of pencils versus if you, sell the lid that they put in it, maybe you can get more money. So I would just make sure, number one, that you're in the right lane and make sure you choose something that you actually want to do. And then just try to figure out what would the customer want as well. Like make sure that you're the one or your company can provide a service that actually serves that. You know what I mean? And as long as you can find a long-term path to solve those three things, I think you'll be in good shape.
That's good stuff. And one of the key points is you said something that you actually want to do. So do you think that people have to be in love with what they're doing, or it's just there's a like there?
I don't think you have to be. As long as you're making some money, I think you'll find a way to love it, right? Or if you're good at it. You know what I mean? Because after a while, like, we like dopamine, right? And so it feels good if somebody compliments you. I didn't like cleaning at first, but I did learn to like it over after a while because I was good at it and I would get compliments. So and when after a while, if you can shoot basketball really well, when my son when he was a toddler, he could shoot very well automatically. I don't know how he was able to do it. He just could shoot, and so as he grew old, 10 years later, he's still playing basketball. And I think that when people get that dopamine hit, they'll learn how to just all of a sudden like whatever it is that they do. So, I mean, I think that you don't have to love it. I think that as long as you can make some money, as entrepreneurs, I think you got to be money driven. But obviously don't do anything for money. Have a conscience. But yeah, I don't think you have to love it, honestly. I think you'll learn to love it if you're successful in it.
Good, interesting perspective. Yeah. And so one of the things we kind of touched on earlier is that shiny object syndrome, but also FOMO is common. So there's fear of missing out. So especially in entrepreneurship, how do you recommend entrepreneurs overcome that fear of missing out on opportunities when they start to focus on one thing? Because maybe if you're focusing on multiple businesses, like you got people still hitting you up about this thing. And it's like, well, I could use that money, but let's stay focused.
Yeah, it's funny. So when I answer this, I'm going to shoot myself in the foot, right? Because, sometimes as salespeople, we run scarcity advertisement, right? And so, but I'll be honest with you. Somebody taught me, I don't remember who, but I learned that anything that you can miss out on isn't a real opportunity anyway. It's like, if it's going to go away, then it's probably not that serious. For example, if you're in a rush to invest in Apple stock today because the stock just dropped and you're so excited and you got to get it today because it's a great time, That's not real. Apple isn't going anywhere. You can buy it later. You can buy it in 2 years. You can buy it in 10. You know what I mean? It's like same thing with starting a company. They say the best time to start a business is yesterday. The second best time is today. And that's true every day of the week. You know what I mean? So it's like, don't ever feel like you're going to miss out on something. Don't think, oh, I got to buy this Bitcoin today or else, or I got to start this cleaning business today or else. Because honestly, if it's that great of an opportunity, it'll be there when you're ready for it to be there. Or guess what? It might not be a good opportunity and you're missing out for a reason. So I always think that everything happens for a reason. And honestly, don't ever feel like you're missing out. If you're missing out, then that wasn't there for you. And it wasn't right for you at that time.
That is really good. I love that. I love that so much because, I've been seeing that a lot recently for me as well, personally, in terms of like even business opportunities. And I think somebody was on the podcast before. We were talking about like Black Friday sales. And it's always this thing like, okay, get it for this deal. And I'm like, let me get it. And I found myself like wasting a lot of money paying for those annual sales. So This time I was like, let me hold out. And why a couple of days later, it will be an even better sale.
Exactly.
So that is so true. Or just being better equipped to handle that business opportunity in the correct mind space as well. Just waiting.
Yeah, exactly. And I even see like MLM guys will approach me and be like, you don't want to miss out on this. Like this is once in a lifetime. And it's like, well, if it's once in a lifetime, is it really that great? It's like, like things are going to always come around. This won't be the last of it. What they say is nothing new under the sun. Right. There's always going to be another chance.
Yes. Definitely agree. I agree. And AJ, one of the things we've also been speaking about is it seems like one of the things that's really important to you is continuous self-improvement and just going out there and getting the resources to continue to build upon yourself and your business. And I want to ask, I didn't ask this earlier. So where did this desire to be an entrepreneur come from for you?
I don't know how honestly, I hate to say I was born with it, but I might have been. Honestly, like even growing up, people looked up to Biggie. I was looking up to Diddy. You know what I mean? It's like, don't worry if I write rhymes, I write checks.
Diddy at this time.
Right. Not this time, right? Don't ignore what's going on right now, right?
Not what's going on. Listen, funny enough, I used to be a super Diddy fan. I had people calling me like, is this your man? I'm like, it's old Diddy. Yes, but I get what you're saying.
Right. And so he was like, don't worry if I write rhymes, I write checks. And I thought that was the hardest thing ever. I'm like, yeah, I want it. Because I realized that, I just like my freedom. I've always been rebellious. I don't want it. Like my mom would tell me to, pick up my clothes. I got to wait 2 seconds just so I can feel like I did it because I wanted to and not because she told me to. You know what I mean? So it's like, and I knew that in order for me to have my freedom, I had to have some money. So that's kind of where it started from. I just want to be able to do what I want to do when I feel like it.
I love that. Yes. It's just, that is definitely, I can see like that kind of personality is definitely something I think a lot of people are born that way. You're just wired like that. So, and I asked that question also because for those people who are trying to refine their focus or just get more focus, who weren't necessarily born with that focus and that hustle, what are some strategies or tips that you can give for them to kind of hone in on being focused?
Yeah. So I think the way I hear it is maybe somebody might not feel like they were naturally born an entrepreneur, but they're trying to get into this space. Okay. Yeah. So I would say number one is kind of focus on, well, why are you trying to do this? Because again, for me, it was about freedom. And so for you, it might be freedom, or it might be you don't like your boss, or it might be like, look at all of the pain points, basically. Like what's driving you to do this? Is it the fact that you hate getting up 9 o'clock every morning or 7 o'clock every morning? Is it the fact that, you can't go to the field trips with your kids? Like focus on those things that's driving you to do it. That's number one. And then I think two is, I know for me personally, I had to realize, because I had so many different jobs, it's unbelievable. And I quit every single one of them. I never got fired because I always quit. And so what I realized after a while was, there is no such thing as a dream job for me. Yeah. It's just, I had to create my own thing, because no matter where I go, I'm going to have an issue. And so I think maybe if you just look at, why you're trying to go in this entrepreneur space, I think that'll help you get to help you to start adapting that mentality to become more of an entrepreneur. So just figure out, figure out like, why are you trying to go into that space? And I think if you lock in on the why, that'll help you get, more in tune with entrepreneurship, and listen to podcasts just like this one, the Black to Business podcast. Listen, all I do almost nonstop all day long, I'm playing some type of podcast or YouTube podcast, something in the background nonstop while I'm working, while I'm taking a shower, like no matter what I'm doing, I'm feeding my brain, business and positivity.
That's such great advice. Love that. And in all of this focusing and mastering your niche, community is so important. It's very crucial. So for you, in your experience, what role has community played in staying focused and achieving these business goals? Because you need a community of people supporting you to run business and to run a successful business.
Yeah, for sure. I would say I'm lucky in the way that I've designed my company with Clean Biz Network is a network. And it's a network full of people that, look up to me. And so they keep me encouraged. And it almost feels like we're literally family, even though some of them I never met in person. We only met online, but it's like they're so supportive of me. They see my vision and they just want to help. So that helps a lot. And then also got to definitely big shout outs to my wife, Regina. She holds it down. You know what I mean? Like she's not like an entrepreneur at heart, so to speak. She's gotten into it now. While she wasn't always able to see my vision, she was always there to support it. It's like, well, what you need me to do? You know what I mean? Even if she had the attitude face sometime, she still would do it. You know what I mean? And so that's huge. And now even like my kids, now that they're starting to get older, they help support me. My mom has been supportive. I mean, I keep a lot of people around me that just think, basically, if you're not on what I'm on, I kind of distance myself away from you anyway. So, you know what I mean? So I think it's extremely huge to try to build a community around you. And if you can't build one around you, at least just get around like-minded people, other entrepreneurs. And even if you had to move, which I did, I left Virginia and moved to Florida. And that was one of the biggest things that helped my business grow tremendously, just getting away from those local expectations that I had at first at home. And just being able to get a fresh, clean slate. But yeah, definitely put yourself around people who are aligned with your vision, and or at least just positive. You know what I mean? Positive people.
That is so true. And AJ, so you've built this, like you said, a huge community. And so how do you stay engaged? Maybe like you said, you don't know everybody, you haven't seen everybody in person. But in a part of that, like, how do you stay engaged with your audience to continue to build that support?
Yep. So there's a couple of different ways. So the first way is definitely my YouTube channel. So I try to post up there as frequently as possible. And I like to go live so that way we can kind of interact together. Then also for the Clean Business Network itself, we have a private Facebook group for the people who join. And we used to have our own standalone social networking site, but I decided to take it down and just go back to Facebook because it was expensive to manage. And but anyway, so we went back to Facebook. And so I just try to make sure that I'm in there every single day. I'm in there checking, being active. They can tag me at any time. I answer all questions. I go live in the group. And then we also have a scheduled monthly call. We used to do weekly, but it seemed like it was overkill. But again, I just always just active in there, and I just do my best to genuinely help people.
Yes, I love that. Yes. Okay. And so in this, I'm sure a lot of people face burnout. So especially when you're focusing intensely on something. So how do you strike that balance between maintaining your focus, but also ensuring your well-being as a business leader?
Yeah, for sure. I think that you have to focus on the things you like to do. Like when it comes to business, like, for example, Clean Business Network started as, something I like to do, which was coach and consult and all of that. And but eventually, as you start to scale, there's going to be things that have to be done that you don't like to do, like, checking on your bookkeeper and sending out invoices and, all of the boring stuff. And so that's when you hire and put people in place to do those things that you don't like. So that way you can mostly focus on the things that you do like, and also take breaks. I mean, I will almost cuss. I ain't gonna cuss on there, but but you got to have those effort. Allow yourself to have that effort time. Like, just forget it. You know what I mean? Where it's like, hey, you know what? I ain't doing nothing today. Scrap the calendar. Right. I ain't doing nothing today, but I'm gonna sit in here and I'm gonna play 2K. You know what I mean? Or I'm just going to zone out. I'm going to lay in the bed all day and watch Scooby-Doo or something. Like, I'm not doing nothing. I'm just chilling today because I grinded. I worked hard for this freedom. Y'all getting on my nerves. I'm done. Phone on airplane mode for the day. You know what I mean? But then tomorrow we're going to get to it and make up for the day. So that's just kind of how I deal with it. I don't know if that's the best advice, but that's what I do.
That's real. I had one of those days yesterday, actually. I was like, I'm going to sit here and I played Matlock. I started watching Matlock, like so old. But I'm like, tomorrow I have a couple of interviews set up and meetings. This is it. So
right.
I feel it. Yeah, you need that. And so one of the things I also want to talk about is targeting those right customers. So you talked about like that lead generation strategy that you have and getting those leads. So for somebody who's listening, how can they attract those right customers regardless of what industry they're in?
Yeah, I would say target them for one. Make sure you actually like pick your customer avatar, like decide, okay, I want this type of customer. I want them to, just describe the type of person, the ideal customer that you will want, and then figure out, okay, now where would these customers be? For me, I was able to, go on Google and say, all right, let's just say you want to clean dentist offices, right? Go on Google, make a list of every dentist office in the area that you want to get a customer in, and then put them on a spreadsheet, put their address, put the phone number, and put a section for comments and call them one by one. So you can call them. I would say get out here and you can even go visit people. You can do, advertising on social media, but whatever it is, whatever industry that you're in, just figure out, what your customer is, what they look like, where they hang out, and go to them. Literally reach out and get aggressive with it and go out to them. And also just post on social media. You'd be surprised. You know what I mean? I know for me with like YouTube, it seems like, I got this huge following now. But again, I remember when I had absolutely nobody watching, you know what I mean? And I would just get up there and I would just post and simply talk about my journey. You know what I mean? Hey, what's up, y'all? I'm AJ. I started a company. This is what I'm doing to, make it out the hood and get money. Hopefully this will help you. You know what I mean? So just I would say definitely get on social media. But as Gary Vee taught me, document, don't create. Get out there and just be real, put your stuff out there. And you probably be surprised how you can attract those right people towards you just by being authentic.
I had to write that one down. Document, don't create.
For sure.
That's good. That's good. All right. So now let's get into more of the work that you are doing with Clean Biz Network. So you have built this comprehensive resource hub. So can you talk more about like, what do you offer? How is it? And what are your services? So those who are interested could take advantage of your services and work with you.
Yeah, for sure. I always struggle trying to describe it because we do so much. But again, we basically help you start and grow your cleaning company. And so the different products and services that we offer, I'll try to remember them all, is number one is that starter kit, right? And so in the starter kit, it will ship you all the supplies to your house. It's going to come with a online course so you can take at your own pace to make sure you know every single thing from A to Z. It's going to come with the private Facebook group with Clean Business Network that I was talking about earlier. It's going to come with a monthly call with me, and it's going to come with, if you want to add this on, you can add on 10 leads as well. So, and the leads are basically walkthrough appointments to, get you a customer that much faster. So that's the starter kit. Then we also have our lead generation service, which is basically like I described earlier. It's like a telemarketing service. You complete the application, tell us where, you need customers at, and my cold callers will call that area for you, set up an appointment for you, tell you where to meet them. You just show up and try to close the deal. Next, we have a mobile app. So the mobile app has the bidding calculators, proposal generators, basically our whole software is on there. So we got the bidding calculator. Then we also have, what else we got? I'm trying to think. A CRM, so customer relationship management tool. So it's like, you can do everything up there. Build your website. You can get a business phone line. You can track all of your leads. Everything is in there. I feel like I'm missing something big, but I can't remember what it is. But anyway, it's basically every single thing that you could possibly think of needing for your cleaning company. That's what we cover.
I love that. So much stuff that's really good for every stage, like you mentioned. And for you, like the network has really evolved. Can you share like how, as a leader, you've evolved in this journey?
Yeah, I think I've evolved by simply just being able to I've learned so much about listening to other people. Like, being that I'm resourceful myself, so even if someone asks me a question, and every now and then there's ones that you'll ask me and I don't know, but I don't like not knowing. So once you ask, it's like, well, let me go figure that out. You know what I mean? So whether it means I'm scouring online because I'm real good at searching, right? And then, or whether it means if I'm reaching out to some of those resources that I've met in the industry. I know, now that I've been doing this for so long, I pretty much know, business owners in this industry all over the world, pretty much. Like not even all over the country, but also at any moment I can call the expert in pretty much anything and just ask them, like, what do you think on this? What do you think on that? And so it just helped me to grow in my knowledge more than anything.
That's really good. And so as we conclude the conversation, I want to ask, what advice would you have for especially aspiring Black entrepreneurs or early stage Black entrepreneurs in order to leverage the power of focus? And how can they take that immediate action to build this sustainable and successful business based on that focus?
Yeah, I guess my advice would be, pick that one thing. It's like, stop trying to guess which, should I do trucking? Should I do real estate? Should I do a nail shop? Right? Like all of these different, listen, they all work. All of them work. You know what I mean? So we got that part out of the way. Stop trying to guess which one is going to work and which one ain't. They all will work as long as you work. Pick the one that you want to do. Shelf the rest. Businesses are not easy. All right. They're not easy to build. And if you're really serious about it, it's going to take, all of your effort to build that one. We are not that great of people to run multiple companies, especially now when we are small. If your first business isn't doing at least $1 million, you shouldn't be thinking about another business. That's just my honest opinion. So because it really takes so much to build a real business, and anybody that's calling themselves a serial entrepreneur and all right, I won't do that.
Come on, do it. We keep it real on the I was over here like, yes.
Right, you like, get them, right?
Get them. You
but
said
yeah, but I mean, definitely focus, because I know for me, for example, I'll use myself. My ultimate goal, and I'll put it out there, it might backfire, but oh well. I want to sell my company for $100 million. And so I know that in order to sell it for $100 million, I have to build it to $10 million and the reason why all I have to do is get it to 10 is because I have a SaaS model, software as a service. And so subscription-based model companies typically can sell for a lot more, multiples. And so if I can get it to at least about 10 million in revenue, I can probably get about 100 million for it. And so I'm not going to lie. And I know, that's a touchy subject in our community because, we mad at, the Johnsons for selling BT, right? But I'm telling you, business is no joke. And I ain't gonna lie to y'all, I get tired, right? Yes. And so, and I know too that I could take that money and, we can build another business later, but it will be a lot more secure. But when you're building it from the ground up, it's going to take everything in you. You're going to always be almost going broke every time. Like it's a nonstop grind, y'all. So stop thinking you need multiple things. I know they say the average millionaire got 7 streams of income, but listen to this. They didn't say the average millionaire used 7 streams of income to become a millionaire. They just said that average millionaire got 7 streams of income right now. So the way it works is you use one thing to get rich. Then you spread those riches out to remain wealthy. You don't get there by trying to do a bunch of different things. We don't have the capacity to do that. You have to focus. So pick one thing, go all in on that, and then maybe you can make that $100 million or $1 billion exit like I'm trying to do, or maybe you can keep it and pass it on for generations and build that legacy wealth. But the bottom line is the only way you're going to get there is if you lock in on one thing. Look at the Forbes list. Who tops it every single year? Buffett, Warren Buffett, entrepreneur, focus on one thing, Berkshire Hathaway. Bill Gates, one thing, Microsoft. Now, eventually he branched out, but he was a billionaire by that time, right? Mark Zuckerberg, Meta, one thing, entrepreneur. All of these guys, you look at the whole list all the way down, every single person you look at, you know that their name, you know the company, that one company, and then you know that they're entrepreneurs. So just keep that in mind, pick that one thing and figure out how you can grow it as big as absolutely possible.
That was a word, Pastor Simmons. That was a word. It was everything. This is so true. I love it because like we mentioned in the beginning, so many people are, multi-hyphen. And like we said, we're guilty of it too, but, having that perspective, and you really just laid it out like this is why, because it does take everything to run a business. And this is a Black to Business podcast, and we want to keep it real. So,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
and you said we're guilty of it. If you don't mind, I just want to tackle that one more time. I'm just going to throw myself under the bus here because,
let's go.
I got all of these different products and services, and I do this to help the people. But if I'm honest, if I only locked in, let's just say if I only locked in on starter kits, that's I don't want to get too specific, but it's a $2,000 product, right? If you get the leads included. And so even if I only sold, one of those in every single state a month, we had 100,000 a month. That one product alone. And so my company averages with somewhere around about, we'll do like, 60 to 80, 100-ish a month, right? But we could essentially do 100 just with that one product.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the same thing goes for my lead generation services and all of the other services that we offer, the subscription model. If I focus on just one of those things alone, could get me to the revenue the whole company does overall. But since I have to keep my attention on all these different things, it's steady growing every year, but it grows slower than I think it could if I just focus on one thing. And so and in that sense, the more focus you can get it, the better it will be.
Yes. Thank you so much for sharing that, AJ. Just the insights into how it's working for you and just being transparent in that, because I think it's important. And even personally with Black to Business, there are some things we're looking 2024 to, get rid of because of, like you said, the power of focusing on one thing. And I'm learning even from this conversation. So thank you so much for pouring that into us.
Absolutely.
And it also makes me think. It makes me think about this business owner. So if you're listening, everybody know I love me some Amy Porterfield, and she has a digital course that she sells also for $2,000. But I'm in her community, and one of the things I saw is she shared a debrief of her company one year when they did just selling that course. They sell it one time a year, but she made $9 million from that $2,000 course. And that's all they sold. They sell it one time a year. And I'm like, that is crazy. But when you see these things, it put it in perspective versus, and if people only see people doing a million things, that's all they know. So you being here today is so important because people are seeing that it could work with just focusing on one thing.
Absolutely.
We got to have you back, AJ.
I would love to come back.
Yes. So for you, what has been in all of this the best risk that you've taken?
Oh, for sure. The best risk I took was when I sold my cleaning company, my cleaning franchise to my brother, and I went all out on Clean Biz Network. And when I did that, I did not have a plan, right? And my wife was mad as hell because when I almost made it without cussing. I'm sorry.
You almost made it.
Right? But my wife was mad because, we were just about to get out of debt with that franchise, because with the franchise, every time they give you a new contract, they have to sell it to you. So each new contract costs. And so if we can't pay up front, which none of us typically can, you have to finance. So we were making monthly payments on all of these different contracts. And right around the time that when I decided that I was going to sell it to him, all of those contracts were being paid off. So the profit was about to be bigger than it had ever been before since we had that company. And so she was so mad. It's like, why are you selling it to him? And now and we had just moved to Florida. I had just quit the job at Jam because I was also an operations manager / franchise consultant for Jam Pro. So I was doing that while running my franchise in Virginia while living in Florida. But I did that and I took the risk. I sold it to him and I came up with this new idea for this lead generation service. And I said, you know what? I made $500 off of this, just releasing it. I'm going to take this. I'm going to start an LLC and I'm going to start this thing called Clean Biz Network. I think I'm on to something. I took that risk. The very first month, I made the same amount I was making in the cleaning company when I sold it. And then every month after that, it was just up every single time. And it was like, I'm so grateful that I took that risk. I did not know what I was doing. The Jam Pro job actually, begged me to come back to them. They even told me that they would set me up with my own franchise, master franchise location and everything. And I'm like, I kind of looked at that as, I think it was something in the Bible where they said the devil offered somebody, the whole world, and they were on the thing and they did everything. And it was like, well, and so that's kind of how I looked at it. Like, if you're willing to give me all of this, you must know that what I'm about to build over here is a threat. And so for that reason, I'm gonna go the other way. And so I just not, That's every single morning when I wake up and I post on Instagram, on my Instagram story, I post the word grateful every single morning because I'm just grateful that I did this. I can't believe that I did it. I didn't know it was going to work, but I'm so grateful for that gamble for sure.
Yeah, that is huge. That is huge. Yeah, and just to be in a space to be able to do that, in the mind space to be able to do that, because for so many, it's hard to even imagine taking that type of risk, and it paid off.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes, a living example, AJ. We love it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So I do want to now go into a quick round of not so serious business. So these are some fun questions. Okay. First question is, which TV show do you wish still aired?
Don't be mad at me, but The Cosby Show. That was one of my favorites.
You did it. You got
right. I'm doing bad, ain't I? He's like, who is AJ really, right?
Right, no, but we get you.
I separate the art from the artist, right?
Yes, okay. And what's the most random social media account you follow?
The most random social media account that I follow? I don't know. Let me think. It's probably like one of those wrestling channels. Like I watched those WWE documentaries and stuff. Like all the old wrestlers, now that they old, they all doing like documentaries and talking about backstage stuff. So I'm subscribed to one of those type of channels.
Okay. All right. That's a good one. All right. And if your business had a theme song that played every time you walked into a room, what would that song be and why?
It would be my song.
Okay.
So, on my YouTube channel, if you watch enough of my videos, you'll actually hear it's an intro that plays, and that's actually me rapping it. So it will be that song because if you listen to the lyrics, it literally just describes me. Like, headed to the top, ain't none of y'all stopping me. You say I never get a ring, Charles Barkley. Now I got a wife, got kids on property, bubble out bands. It look like it be watching me. But anyway, so
I love it.
A lot. Yeah, but so it would definitely be that song because I made it, and it represents me.
I love it. AJ was like, I got my own song and I love that. It's my own song.
Right.
Love it. And finally, what does it mean to you to be Black in business?
It means, it means, I think growth is the first word that's coming to my head. Just growth. As like, I think there's growth for our people because once it's, enough people can see me doing it, they can know that they can do it too. And then we can start to make real change.
That's powerful. Well, this has certainly been a powerful conversation. So much. You are leading the way for sure. And I just thank you so much for pointing to my audience, pointing to me as well, and just continue the work that you are doing. It's groundbreaking. So thank you so much for sharing your journey on the Black to Business podcast, AJ.
Thank you so much, Monique, and keep doing what you're doing. You seem to be very focused as well over here, and I love what you're doing, and keep going.
Wow. I hope you took away from that conversation just as much as I did because the transparency and rawness was real. And I just love the fact that AJ didn't just share the wins, but we also delved into the challenges and the tough decisions that come with focusing on one thing. Trust me, I know it is hard. From the pitfalls to the peaks, AJ really gave us a front row seat to his journey, sharing what has worked and what hasn't worked, and also some of the tough decisions that he had to make and the invaluable lessons that he's learned along the way. It's a real and honest account of entrepreneurship, and I believe that there's something powerful in hearing the raw truth. Now, as we wrap up this episode, let's recap some of the key takeaways. So we explored the game-changing impact of honing in on your niche, and the challenges of multitasking and the steps to actually simplify your business model for enhanced efficiency and focus. But that's not all we discussed. AJ also walked us through the importance of authenticity and embracing imperfections in content creation. We learned about the power of community support and the role of a growth mindset and the art of overcoming FOMO, fear of missing out. So if you're eager to check out the resources that were mentioned in this episode, head over to blacktobusiness.com/181, and there you'll also find out ways to connect with AJ. Thank you so much for joining us today on this episode of the Black to Business podcast. Your support means the world to us, and don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with a fellow entrepreneur. I'll see you back here next week, same time, same place.